Camp Bastion, a fortress built to fight the Taliban. For 8 years, the powerhouse of UK and US military operations in Afghanistan. Now, Britain's biggest military base since World War II is closing. A town the size of Reading, with a massive infrastructure, airport, hospital, fast food restaurants. It's got to be dismantled bolt by bolt and sent back to the UK.
As I say, imagine building all that and then deciding to put it in a box and take it home again. That's a lot of work.
What's left will be handed over to the Afghans.
They need to go. You know what you guys get up to when it's a long, lonely night in Afghanistan?
And they've only got 4 months to do it.
That's really annoying. Someone's just dumped that.
But with 300 troops leaving every week, all the military hardware being shipped out, Bastion's defences will be stripped down to the last man. So it's a deadly race to get everyone out on time.
We're going to open BFBS radio station at Camp Bastion in Afghanistan with just about the most positive tune you could have picked.
One man is charged with the immense task of bringing this town home. Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Quinn, a former bomb disposal expert, 32 years in the army with tours of duty in Northern Ireland, Iraq and Afghanistan. The colonel came here in 2006 to build Bastion. Now he's back to take it apart.
I've moved house 15, 16 times in the army, you know, and so my wife and I got a really slick drill, you know, count the kids, 1, 2, 3, 4, yep, got them all, right, get in the car, you know, and pack it all up. It's pretty slick.
In 2006, in the middle of a desert, the British built Camp Bastion. What started as a few tents and 57 men soon grew into a city with 3 districts. The British in Camp Bastion, the Americans in Camp Leatherneck, and the Afghans in Camp Shorabak. It has an airport the size of Gatwick, with a £130 million runway and over 600 flights every day.
Bastion is kind of the jewel in the crown. Closing Bastion is a key piece, and I get to do it, you know? And that just doesn't happen very often for an infrastructure officer. And to have your own town that you can play with is just great. Pity I'm taking it down.
A secret date has been set for the handover to the Afghan forces. Bastion Day. Codename B-Day. Colonel Quinn has 4 months, 120 days to close the base.
We've been bigging this up all day. We've got to get a song on for him. Sergeant Alex Wilco is going to be 30 today. He's working away at the biowash. Sergeant Wilkie, this is for you. "40% of the equipment in Camp Bastion
is being flown back to the UK. All vehicles go through the biowash, a process that can take up to 4 days per vehicle. What's left is either auctioned or sold as scrap to the locals. But before it leaves the wire, it goes to a special place to be demilitarized. Sergeant Yuri Hill, a former professional cricket player from Jamaica.
Just clear this area for us so you can get in.
10 years in the army, 4 tours of duty, 2 in Iraq and 2 in Afghanistan. He is the gatekeeper at warlike scrap.
Most of this has come off the ground from the guys who are out on the ground here. So it just come here and we demilitarize it. That's my job, to just smash them up. So all this get cut up.
Private contractors are hired to help demilitarize equipment and sell it outside the wire. They employ local Afghans to do the hard graft. The Taliban have a history of infiltrating coalition bases, so Yuri has to be vigilant.
For my peace of mind, I always have someone watching over them, ensuring that they're cutting every bits and pieces. Anything that could be used against us, our coalition forces in the future. So nothing escaped this compound.
You're getting rid of the tubes once they're crushed?
Yes.
And then these?
These I'm just gonna smash them up some more. Take the trigger mechanism off.
Yeah.
And the sights.
Yeah.
So they don't look
And then just go
like a weapon.
the general waste.
And it just goes general waste.
How much work is that?
That is a lot of work.
The popcorn machine destroys out-of-date ammunition by cooking the bullets till they explode.
That's the actual round going off, exploding, and being contained, and then come out as scrap, sell it as brass.
Ammunition too big for the popcorn machine is dealt with in a different way. All military hardware is being repatriated to the UK. But getting rid of weaponry in a war is a dangerous game. In 2012, 14 Taliban managed to breach the fence and get onto the runway.
The attackers were carrying automatic rifles, rocket-propelled grenade launchers, suicide vests, and were wearing U.S. Army uniforms. The firefight lasted 3 hours. When it was over, 2 U.S. Marines were dead, along with all but one of the insurgents.
The perimeter fence is critical to Bastion. Rifleman Fox is 30 years old. This is his first posting.
Biggest threat we have at the moment is vehicle-borne suicide IED. That's the biggest threat. So.
Is that often? Does that happen much?
Recently, yeah. I think there's been 1 or 2 cases, but luckily there was no fatalities, no casualties. Obviously, just the one guy who decided to blow himself up. Yeah, this is 2 kids on the berm. They're just chucking stones and stuff.
There you are.
I'm sure most of the scrappers just come just to try and salvage some metal from the fences and stuff, but I don't know. It could be that they're getting the kids to do it because they know that we won't sort of harm the kids or anything, just to kind of test our reactions and things like that.
So the insurgents are sending kids?
It's possible. It wouldn't be the first time. No, it wouldn't be the first time. Like, in the last couple of days, we've had quite a lot. If they're behind it, we don't know, but yeah, there's been a lot of incidents where kids have just came over the berm and just started pulling pickets out the ground, and all we can do is shout at them and fire flares.
For the men on the watchtowers, things are only going to get more dangerous. With 50 troops being repatriated daily, Bastion's military might is depleting. But these men on the perimeter fence are here to the last.
One fire!
With just over 3 months to go, the clock is ticking.
Come and look at this. This is a Tier 2 wall. Look at this wall.
Colonel Lawrence Quinn, the man responsible for packing up Bastion and handing it over to the Afghans.
Right. We haven't just horsed this in. Look at that line there. Look at that concrete line there. The concrete walls aren't like this, like bad dental work. You know, it's been done properly. It's a really huge concrete wall, and it's important that you get the foundations right, and you don't have gaps that fragments can fly through. So this place has been built really well. You know, we've cared about it. So I'm really proud of this base. I've been here long enough now, and I think I'm going to be handed over with the rest of the infrastructure. They'll sign for me, I think, along with the generators and toilet processor. All right, we're going to leave the barriers in here, leave the barriers in between the aircraft and those little shelters at the front. Those are actually recyclable, so we need to send those back to the UK.
That's fine. And obviously you can see from this side there's a lot of murals here, and there's a lot of talented people. If you look at that one down there, that's a phenomenal. That's a phenomenal bit of art. All the squadrons that come through have painted their own thing on a piece of wall.
Some are really amazing, but unfortunately our policy is to paint out all any form of graffiti or artwork, just to make sure there's no offence caused by anything that might be on the walls. And you know, our culture may not be the same as those of the Afghans, and things that we might find reasonable, they might not do. And it's a great shame. I built one of these in Lego, you know.
Military kit that isn't being repatriated ends up at warlike scrap.
They're making sure it can't be drive again. Look at this. Whack.
Why are they doing that?
Because we can't seem to be gifting stuff to the locals. That's why we cut it up, smash it up as much as we can. That's the rules.
Do you know why that is?
I don't know. It's from higher, so they make the decisions. I've just read orders and follow it, basically.
Yuri's orders also state that wire must be cut into 30-centimetre lengths to prevent it being used by insurgents to make bombs.
Yeah, you're gonna have to cut these, mate, before I can receive them.
Cut them?
Yeah, so just cut them straight down the middle. I know, don't ask me how you're gonna do it, because it's the same story we've got here.
Right.
Yeah? I only have 3 guys, so.
Can I send some guys down to cut it here?
What I don't want to do is take them off you.
And then me just run off and not come back?
Yeah, and then I'm left with the trouble. That's what I can't do, you know what I mean? So the units have to cut them from now on, because I'm not taking any more wires or cables.
So what do I do? Do I leave this here or?
No.
No. I'm looking for push bike.
Push bikes? I haven't got any. Do you think this is a car boot sale or what? Huh?
With half of the 10,000 strong army already repatriated and troops leaving daily, life is changing for the Brits at Bastion.
There's no more chicken, mate. It's finished. No more chicken.
At its height, Bastion served over 34,000 meals a day in 3 massive canteens.
Have you all cleared this side? This side of the
Because of the risk of insurgents poisoning the food, all supplies are flown in from abroad. And every week, Bastion's appetite is voracious. They're now down to 1 canteen, and some of the luxuries are running out. With the drive to get everything out by the deadline, Camp Bastion is tightening its belt.
We keep talking about austerity. Austerity's out now. The word has gone. It's now expeditionary. What does that mean then? It's a reduction in the comfort that we're used to. Please don't whinge. At the end of the day, we still have aircon. We've got Wi-Fi. We've got comfortable accommodation. We've got hot food. I mean, we're almost in luxury. Commander wants me to mention this, and it pains me to say this because I even cringe when I think about it. We must ensure our soldiers are changing their socks and pants. You laugh, I cringe, and I have to mention it. The commander is getting to that level of detail, so make sure as section commanders and indeed troop seniors that we are ensuring that we change our socks and pants. I'll leave it at that, if you can own that one.
Done the weather today because it feels a little bit irrelevant, but I have to remind you, if you are in Afghanistan, Camp Bastion today, highs are 40 degrees, heat stress index is 24.5.
Bastion in the summer, one of the hottest places on Earth. The one thing they can't afford to ration here is water. But with B-Day looming, they've had to close the water bottling plant and ship it back to the UK. So they've stockpiled 8 million bottles to see them through to the end. The military used private contractors to take tents down and clear the land parcels.
A key part of the remediation process is getting the units out of their accommodation, out of the facilities they're in. And we do that through a process called a Board of Officers, or a BOO. And obviously I get my staff to do that. And Captain Doug Barkley is the guy I get to do most of the Board of Officers, the BOOs. He's kind of like the lead shock troop of the infrastructure branch.
All your wooden furniture needs to go. Just get your RSM to get a grip of them. Come and get that razor wire, please.
As long as we keep the contractor moving and fed with all the stuff without having to pause, we'll get out on time.
Love the rockery. but can we get rid of it?
It is like riding a tiger, and the tiger tries to turn around and bite you every day, so you've got to push it back onto track. Do the lights still work?
All hard-standing buildings are being left for the Afghans.
This is a building designed by NATO to provide training against IEDs. How do you search to make sure you're safe? You know, searching tunnels, ditches, culverts, that kind of a thing. Can those pigeons get out?
Yes, sir.
Can those pigeons get out?
Probably not. They're probably dying in.
Sex me. Can we leave the door open for them?
No, I'm going to lock it, sir.
Can they get out through the top?
They get out somehow. They're fine. Dogs are moving end of this month. They've moved some of the search dogs already down to white and green.
I feel sorry for these dogs. Look at that, they don't get to take their coat off. I've got a black lab at home. It's nowhere near as obedient. Boris.
I've got a Rottweiler. I've got a Lambretta, so I called him Scooter.
Were you a mod back in the day?
No, never a mod. Mods are for pretty boys. More of a rude boy. I'm into the old Jamaican ska and stuff like that. The specials.
Really?
Yeah. Northern Soul and a bit of a soul-y boy.
You probably mugged me at school, didn't you?
Great swathes of bastion are being returned to desert. But there's still a logistical mountain to climb before B-Day. There are just 2 months left till Bastion gets handed over to the Afghan forces. 70% of the British troops have left, along with 2/3 of the heavy weaponry. The man in charge of the move is Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Quinn. He's been an infrastructure specialist for 32 years. But first and foremost, he's a soldier.
How's that?
That's actually a bit off. So if you're aiming bottom centre of the white patch.
No, I was aiming for the top there.
You're aiming for the top of the right patch, in which case that's bang on. Good stuff.
I suppose I try for perfection, you know. I recognise that I never quite achieve it. It's like being a piper. You know, I wanted to be a really good piper, but I realised I've got no sense of timing. No sense of rhythm. And I've got no ear for music. There's something vile in my chanter. So I'll just be the best I could be at it, you know, which is probably be a core member of the band, because I really enjoy it.
While the British are packing up to leave, the Afghans over in Camp Shorobak are still at war. These recruits are being mentored by British and American soldiers.
It's going to take a bit of time to get them through, but as you can see, they're working their way around.
This training mission, started by NATO in 2009, means that Afghanistan now boasts a security force of 350,000. The Afghans in Shorobak have limited resources. And with their allies leaving soon, they are desperate to hold on to as much military and logistical hardware as possible. A delegation of Afghans is on its way to visit Camp Bastion, the base they are soon to inherit. Colonel Khorshid is Quinn's counterpart, head of infrastructure in Shoramak.
This whole equipment support facility has its own set of generators.
Does that facilitate power to all these buildings?
Yes, to all these equipment support buildings. We did have a plan to extend this high voltage system to run all of Bastion, but we decided not to in the end. Perhaps we'll do that next time we come back.
This time we're going to keep it for you.
Oh, thank you.
So is that going to be left behind?
Yes, some gym equipment will be left behind. It's a lot of chocolate sponge pudding.
چیزی اساسی جور میکنی یک بار تو برقمون جور میکنی که داخل پایسی برق ما پس با خودمون میمون مصرف میشه تو یک
دیگه برام بگم میشه
نه چی میگی شیر موضوع بین خود گفتیم یعنی چیزایی هست که
توی خود سایل رو نکن پشت
باز بردی دیگه چیز بسیار مصرف کردیم خانه
Yeah, I was just saying, sir, that we've spent more on the space. Camp Bastion looks very nice, good infrastructure.
Yeah.
So from every point of view, so very good.
Thank you. They just want to take everything. That's great, you know, and they really like it. You know, they like what we've done with the place. It's fantastic. That's why.
Warlike is closing in 6 days. The individual units are responsible for getting rid of their own scrap. So the pressure is on.
Yeah, I think it's dead now. What does that say? Yeah. Are you gonna let locals dispose that? No. So you gotta take them back. Excuse me, dude. It says 5K in here, not 20. What's this?
Ring size.
A what? The hell you do with this? Look at this ice now. It's that heavy, it just buckled in the middle. So, yeah.
See what happened when you don't follow them around? That's what happened. They just chuck it on the floor.
You had a busy day, you?
Very, very. I think the closer we get to the end, the busier it is.
Really?
Yeah. Today, I mean, it's non-stop. The guys go for lunch, come straight back, and it's straight into it.
With less than a week till Warlike closes, there's a scramble to get rid of kit, even out on the perimeter.
Just check things, make sure they're getting rid of all their junk before the Warlike scrap shuts.
Captain Doug Barkley has 36 watchtowers to get ready for the Afghan handover.
Hello guys, you all right?
Sir?
Just gonna have a quick look around. We're not going on to the top deck. Hello buddy, you all right?
Yeah, it's not too bad, not too bad.
When you're bugging out, just take all the maps down.
Yeah.
I want everything off the walls, mate.
Okay, sir.
That's good. Stuff like this, you need to get rid of. There's a lot of shit just laying around. Things like that need to go, mate. Any made furniture, if it's not DAS, we need to get rid of. The problem you've got is Warlight scrap shuts.
Yeah.
And once Warlight scrap shuts, it's going to be
3 days, isn't it?
3 days' time. It's going to be an absolute nightmare to get rid of
I'm
it.
off tomorrow, so we're not bothered.
So comes with a jacuzzi, this one. Right, cheers, guys. Let's go to the next one. There's only 22 left. Don't want to see FHM on the walls, mate. Basically, I want it as when you're going to walk out. You know what you guys get up to when it's a long, lonely night in Afghanistan? All right? So let's get them out while we can. I just don't want to incite anything, really. They come here and they'll see that and they'll just, I don't know, get the wrong impression of us. And we've got to abide by their culture, really. So it's just taking them all day. It's playing the game. Nice and clean, good to see.
Do the lads like being at the towns?
I think they do, because you don't get the bullshit out here. You can do what you want. There's no one picking you up for your dress and stuff like that, although you should be dressed appropriately, but they can relax a little bit. But obviously they've got an important job to do, and they're looking out for their threat all the time, and they will remain right until the last minute when we get out.
With the threat of a Taliban attack before B-Day, the British are flying dummy missions to give the impression of a fully operational base. But in reality, Bastion's armour is getting thinner by the day. There's just over a month till B-Day, when Camp Bastion is finally handed over to the Afghans. Forces are down to 1,500 troops, and much of the military hardware is gone. Now, the primary objective for the British is to make a clean exit without any loss of life. But just 70 miles away from Bastion, the Afghan security forces are head-to-head with the Taliban. And they've already lost 4,400 men just this year.
به خاطر همین تجهیزات بدن مساقله و سنگین ایجاد کلگی همین آیتایی که ما بود و ما موجه مصروف هستن امروز آمدن نمیتونن دیگه همین پلان کوتاه بگیریم و کار مهمی که برای ما هست باید همین یک گارتاوار ببینیم.
En route to the perimeter, Colonel Quinn is keen to show Colonel Khorshid the VIP block.
Good morning. Good morning. And, welcome to my home.
Yeah.
Built by the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, the British have decided to leave it for the Afghans as a token of goodwill.
And everything in these rooms is staying, so they all have televisions.
از مراقبتش خوب دقیق است خوب پاک nigah کردن.
به این سویه بگو ما کجا زدیم.
This is all lit up at night. It all comes on automatic when it gets dark.
Dixie is obviously planning for his next career as an estate agent.
Yeah, it's all of the same. جای نماز دیگه انداختن. دیگه جای نماز پیش.
بکشه میشنم.
آمورو بکش.
And also that prayer mat is religious thing.
All right.
سر جای نماز پای خود پاک میکنه. کل پیسه رو همین دادن به خود دادن.
You see the incinerators? We're leaving the incinerators behind.
یا قماندان سبونو پایا را خو میبینین اینجا هم یک بخششان است که نمی مواد در میتن ماشینایی که ماشینای سوخت است او را هم اینجا میمونن کل رام چیز غیر فولست
چی را داره؟
How about the radars, sir?
No, the radar's going.
نه رادارا را میبرن
چیزای مهم کلش میبرن وقتی که طیاره میاد آینده میشینه او باز از کجا رادار تعقیبش کنه دیوارای کانکریتی وزن زیاد سگنه برام انتقال میدونه
The last British troops to leave Bastion will be the ones defending the towers. This will be the most vulnerable part of the handover. It's a much bigger perimeter than the Afghans are used to defending.
The guards have asked that we don't go onto the very top deck.
نه فقط اون شما می داخل میبینیم گنجایش نفر گودوباش نفر چند نفر زندگی میکنه جایش هست این نفرای ما که میبینیم اینجا مستقیما جا به جا میشن یک نفر در بالا میباشه یک نفر در اینجا در کجا میباشه
one at the bottom here and then one at the very top.
چه پروژکتورام اینجا دارن نه تا سایه دیدشان چقدر است
Sir, he's asking in the big lights, projectors.
Yeah, so we have the generators that at the minute along the perimeter.
Yeah. این همی جنریترهاشون که چراغ داره باقی میمونه اینجا. Do you have like CCTV cameras all over this place?
You've got CCTV cameras?
Like just
not
two?
You haven't done?
No, so there are integral assets, basically.
Yeah,
So we
so
do
no.
نه قانون سمیه کامرا چیزی اینجا نصب و فقط این پرسونال مسئولیتش اینمی است که دیده خودشون.
After 5 months, Sergeant Yuri Hill is shutting up shop.
So far, it's over 2.5 million kilos of material being disposed through the war. Like, I think me and the lads did awesome job out here. Yard looking empty now. Good feeling.
Is it?
Yeah. Smashed it. It's done.
Is that a tear I see running down your cheek?
Never. Never. I would never. Oh my God, you don't know how happy I am.
So Yuri, worst case scenario, this country doesn't, manage to hold back the Taliban. How would you feel?
It would, of course, yeah, it would be sad because we come here and we help them so much and then to see the Taliban take over, it will be a sad sight, But hey, we tried.
Happy days.
See you tomorrow.
After 13 years of war, Britain's most expensive overseas military base is coming to an end.
It's going to get a little bit emotional. I'm trying not to get emotional, but it is my last show from our studios here in Camp Bastion. Just keep safe, keep up the good work, and I'll catch you on BFBS soon.
The memorial wall before us has become a bastion for our collective memory of those whom we have lost during this campaign. Its rightful and timely transfer from this land to ours will ensure that the memories of a foreign field are brought home in the right way and will endure for future generations of soldiers, sailors, and airmen.
how am I going to get this stuff in here? Normally, my wife packs my bag. I'm utterly useless at this. So I'm just kind of ramming it all in, hoping it'll go in there somewhere. We're down to, I think it's about 720 military people here in Bastion. And you walk around, and you can walk around a long way to Bastion and not see a soul. So, fortunately, we've got a very secure perimeter, which is great, but it's a radically different place. It's sad to see it go, because it really is the end of such a major part of a British operation. There's a piece of history being written, and to be able to write 1 or 2 words in the book of history, it's awesome. Yeah, so in that way, it's really great. And not only that, I'm coming to the end of my career, and they've given me a job in headquarters Army. Lovely job, but it just won't compare with this. So really, I suppose this is a highlight of my career. I've only waited 31 years for it, or 32 years really for this.
Seven years after he first set foot in Camp Bastion, Colonel Quinn is leaving.
We're leaving here really proud of what we've done in Southern Helmand, and I'm really proud of what we've achieved here in Camp Bastion. So yeah, it's been a heck of a challenge.
The Brits are leaving Afghanistan with more schools, better roads, and tighter security around some of the cities. But elsewhere, the Taliban are stronger than ever and determined to retake Helmand. Over the next few days, the last of the equipment gets sent home. Camp Bastion is now a shadow of its former self. The only thing remaining, 300 British troops, ready for the final handover.
They're here with all their equipment, weapons, everything ready to go, so we're just now in a position where we're basically just waiting for them to command their guys onto the trucks and then start occupying the towers.
With just 7 hours left before the Brits are due to be out of Bastion, the Afghan army are gearing up for the takeover.
And the southern packet is now moving through, over.
200 soldiers are en route to secure the perimeter.
The key to Bastion marks the formal transfer of the estate here at Bastion back to Afghan ownership. Thank you very much.
As the British step down, the Afghans immediately take their place. But without the high-tech surveillance equipment, the towers are more at risk. So the Afghans are stationing 10 men in each one, twice what the British had. The Taliban have threatened to attack the base on B-Day, so Apache helicopters constantly patrol the skies. An hour later, and Bastion is in the hands of the Afghans.
که احیانا در باندې دښمن حمله وکړي څه رقم نور ټور نه سره خبره وایي
نو تاسو سره خو ځینې سره نږدې دي یو کو د سوزو لاس مقصد وخو زي موږ پیګو چې دا کس څنګه راغی او مخابره چې په لکه حال مخابره تر اوسه لاندې لرو کنه نو تاسو ته ان شاء الله وشي
6 Apache helicopters fly overhead, securing the runway as the final 30 troops leave. And the very last man, Wing Commander Matt Radnall, has the honour of bringing the Union flag home. Britain's biggest military campaign since World War II is over.